What is going on, guys? Money Webby here, back again. Fantasy football draft prep. It's my favorite time of the season. We're getting ready to get back to football, preparing for our drafts, and just a ton of football content. So I got my favorite draft values based on their ADPs and just where they're being drafted and stuff like that. They're being undervalued, I believe, with these 8 guys, 2 players at every position. So I'm kind of breaking it down for you why I love these guys heading into the season. So go ahead and drop a like in the video. If you would like to see more of this content heading into the season, I can do some more type of videos that kind of give you my thoughts heading into the season on all these guys and just my opinions and stuff like that. So be sure to drop a like if you're ready to go for this football season. It's going to be a great one. Hopefully we can all take home some money in DraftKings for DFS stuff and our season-long leagues. Hopefully we can take home some wins there. So yeah, let's just get into it. My first running back is going to be Alex Collins. Had a very underrated season last year. Had 973 yards on the ground, and he didn't even really become like the workhorse for this Ravens team until week 11. That's when he was getting serious good touches. Week 11 to week 17, he was averaging 19.9 touches per game, and was a very good running back from that span. He was the running back 9 overall from week 11 on, so he was putting up some good fantasy numbers and just had a great season. He averaged 4.6 yards per carry, so very effective in that situation. And his ADP right now, it's in the 4th round, pick 39, ranked running back 19 on Fantasy Pros. That's where the rankings are going to be on the screen, as you see here. The rankings are from the consensus experts. So he's ranked RB 18 in PPR, ADP 4th round. So I think at that current situation where he's at now, honestly, I think he has top 10 upside at the running back position. I'll explain to you why. Their secondary wide receivers is pretty much the name of this Ravens offense. They got Michael Crabtree, who's definitely not in his prime anymore. He's looked okay for the Raiders the last couple of years, pulling home some solid production, but he's not really a good enough wide receiver 1 for any offense, but he is going to be that for the Ravens. Then they got Smokey Brown or John Brown from the Cardinals. That guy cannot really stay healthy. And then they got Willie Snead from the Saints, who is more of a slot kind of third option for the Saints offense. So got some okay wide receivers, but their offensive line is very solid. It's the strength of this offense, and their running game should be what they lean on. This is a defensive team as well, so I think they're going to rely heavily on this run game. Joe Flacco, he hasn't been that great over the last couple seasons. So Alex Collins, I think he's going to be the backbone of this offense. They got Marshall Yanda back, who's their best offensive lineman. He actually went down week 3 of last year, I believe. So Alex Collins, I believe he only had like 5 carries behind him last year out of the 212 that he ran, and he still averaged 4.6 yards per carry, so very impressive there. And behind Yanda, if you look at his splits of like each hole that he was running in, behind the right guard where Yanda will slot back in, he only had 3.9 yards per carry. That was his second lowest slot out of every hole. There's 5 different holes, like behind the left tackle, left guard, center. So he really struggled without Yanda there. So with Yanda back in that position at the right guard, he can definitely up his yards per carry going that way. And also they got a new right tackle in Orlando Brown. They drafted him in the 3rd round. The guy has expertise in his run blocking. He was a very good graded out PFF or Pro Football Focus player for run block. I believe he was top 10 at the position for tackle last season. So he's definitely good in run blocking, and I think he can help that right side of the offensive line. They're going to be really strong there, and Collins is kind of a field day running behind the right guard and the right tackle. So I really like him in this offense. Like I said, they're going to be run first. Great offensive line. And Alex Collins, like I mentioned with Pro Football Focus, he was actually the top graded runner. On every time he ran the ball, they kind of grade out how he did. And over the whole entire season, combining all of his runs, he had the top grade out of any running back in the league running the ball. So I thought he was the best running back on the ground. And if you watch some of his game film, I think he's pretty damn impressive. He has great vision. He can bounce off some tackles, has some solid strength. There is some hype for Kenneth Dixon coming back, but the guy has been in and out of the lineup or just on the field. The guy gets banged up a lot, and I don't think he's that great of a talent. He is pretty solid. He's more good in pass catching situations, so that could limit Collins a little bit. But I don't think they want to mess with this rotation too much. Like, they don't want to have Collins not on the field that much. I think they want to give him more snaps. That's what he was trending to last season. And if Dixon gets hurt, it doesn't play that well again this season, I think they're just going to pull the plug on the guy and just give Collins a heavy workload, which I'm expecting. I think he can push for over 280 carries on this whole entire season and be like a top 10 guy with carries. He's pretty good in the red zone, so I think he can be a top 10 back. So great value pick there. ADP in the 4th round, you can pair him up with a top running back like David Johnson or so in the 1st round. So definitely a good target there. And for my 2nd running back, we're going to go with the rookie here. A little bit more risky with your rookies, you know. I mean, like sometimes they come out of the gates kind of slow and they kind of can put themselves in the doghouse. But Rashaad Penny, the opportunity is there. You can turn that penny into a nickel. But Rashaad Penny, rank running back 20. ADP 4th round, right next to Alex Collins, pick 41. So Penny, similar to Collins, I think this guy can get a ton of carries with how this offense profile is out. Not many receiving options. They lost Jimmy Graham, so they're kind of, you can just see that they want to transfer back over to that run-heavy offense. More balance here. Pete Carroll, like if you look in the media, just every other day it seemed like he was going to the media and saying, I want to fix the run game. I want to fix the run game. So I hope in OTAs this guy's like beating the offensive line to death, this like making them or like hit the sleds for like 10 hours and just become a nasty run blocking team and really give Penny a ton of opportunities to have a huge season. So that's kind of what I'm thinking here. I think they want to give Penny that Marshawn Lynch role. After Lynch left the team, the offense just hasn't been the same. They've been relying on guys that have just been in and out of like the lineup or out of the depth chart. Just like they've been going through like 100 different running backs, and Penny, they want that this solidarity, I don't know the word, just that certainty in their backfield. So I think Penny, they put a 1st round draft pick on him. They're expecting a lot of big things. Pete Carroll and the GM, like right after they got him, they called him or referred to him as a 3-down back. So that's also a plus that he could be on the field for 3 downs and get some catches just to make him like solidify him a little bit more for PPR scoring. So I think he can get like 30 grabs and get like honestly up to 250 to 280 carries. So has the 300 plus touches upside that Marshawn Lynch saw in his first 4 seasons with Seattle. So they want to get back to that. Their offensive line is a little bit better. Got Dwayne Brown back there, a solid left tackle. And also they got DJ Fluker, who's more of has expertise in run blocking compared to pass blocking. So they really want to get this run game going. And with Wilson healthy, he kind of helps keep the defensive line guessing a little bit with that read option, which can really help Penny. And he actually led all of college football in missed tackles last season, which Lynch pretty much made a killing on for Seattle. He was kept on leading the league in missed tackles. So Penny, similar kind of player where just he makes a lot of guys miss and can slot perfectly into that role. I think he is similar to Collins, can have top 15 to top 10 running back upside in that mid-range here. So a guy I'm definitely liking at that 4th round value. Put in there as your RB2s, but can be RB1s towards the end of the season. So that is it for running backs. On to quarterbacks, my favorite player. I'm just ready for this guy to go off this season. Patrick Mahomes. He's so fun to watch. A great talent. Can do a lot of different things. Has the arm of a god. He can sling it like 60 yards on the run. He can make some plays with his feet. So Mahomes, a very talented guy. And he has a terrific offensive plan for fantasy football. It's a fast-paced offense. You got Travis Kelce, a pretty damn fast tight end. You got Tyreek Hill, probably like the fastest guy in football. Sammy Watkins, he's a speedster as well. Then you got Kareem Hunt, a very solid all-around running back. Oh, that's going to be annoying. Now I got that friggin' low battery thing on the side. But we're going to keep it going here. Patrick Mahomes. And also they got a bad defense. They're going to have some shootouts this season. Because their defense is very bad. They lost their lockdown cornerback in Marcus Peters, so they're going to be in some shootouts. So Mahomes, the sky's the limit for this guy. We saw Alex Smith be the quarterback for last season in this Chiefs offense. We know that Andy Reid, he can never really kind of commit to that run game. So Mahomes, you know that Andy Reid wants to give Mahomes the world and just have a huge season. So I think he's going to, in this offense, a very good weaponry with those guys like I mentioned. So I think he can be a top 5 quarterback, and he's being drafted right now as like I think like the 15th or the 14th quarterback or so in that range, and he's ranked quarterback 14 by Fantasy Pro, so you're not putting much investment in him at all. And I think he'll be at least a top 10 quarterback. You can write that down for you. Money Webby says Mahomes top 10 quarterback. And on top of that, I think he'll actually be a top 8 quarterback, but at least top 10, I'll say, this season. So offense too good. Like, we're ranking these guys, Kelce, Hill, Watkins, Hunt, in like the top like echelon of their position. So how are these guys going to go off if Mahomes doesn't go off. Doesn't really make much sense for Mahomes to be ranked that low. So that's kind of my thinking. But Big Ben next up. Very slow start to the season last year. Was getting kind of killed. People were questioning if he should just like retire after the season or if he's still like good anymore. But then after week 5, where he got 5 interceptions and 0 touchdowns against Jacksonville, from week 6 on, the guy was an absolute stud. He was the quarterback 4 in all of fantasy and averaged 20.2 fantasy points per game. So with Juju Smith in the offense, he'll be better in his second year of football. Antonio Brown, best wide receiver in football, also drafted a nice deep threat in James Washington. He can do some nice things for them. And also they got Vance McDonald in the backup tight end role right now, but I think he can overtake Jesse James as that receiving tight end for their offense. So they have a very good weaponry, similar to Patrick Mahomes. Also, you got Le'Veon Bell out of the backfield. Very good receiving back. So, Big Ben, I think he's going to have a very good season. Continue on what he was doing last year. And also, he's got some more motivation with Mason Rudolph selected behind him in the draft last season. I think he was like round 2 pick for the Steelers. So, that's going to light a fire under Big Ben's ass. And he's going to be ready to go. I think he's going to be a top 8 to top 6 fantasy quarterback this season. So, a great value there. Next up, though, Allen Hurns. Another guy with immense opportunity here. We got Dez Bryant and Jason Witten gone from the Cowboys. So you got 220 targets freed up. That was 45% of Dak Prescott's throws last year. Gone, wiped away from the offense. So Allen Hurns, I think he's the best by far wide receiver left on this team. You got a rookie, Michael Gallup. I don't think Dak Prescott's really going to trust him that much. Dak's a pretty safe thrower. I don't think he's really going to be having that chemistry yet with the rookie like that. I think Allen Hurns is going to be that go-to guy, that move the chains guy for Dak Prescott. So I think he can be like a 75 catch, 1,000-yard wide receiver in this offense. He's shown the upside before in 2015. He got 1,031 yards, 10 touchdowns. He had a huge season there. But he's dealt with injuries the last 2 seasons, kind of held him back a little bit with not much production, as we saw last year, only 484 yards, 2 touchdowns, but he's being ranked wide receiver 49. Way too low for me. Think he can be easily, honestly, a wide receiver 30. So a solid wide receiver 3 on your team with wide receiver 2 upside in this offense with how much opportunity is on the table. And Allen Hurns, an underrated player, was very good in 2015. I think he can get back to that if he stays healthy. And for my 6th wide receiver, I'm going to go with Amari Cooper. He's ranked wide receiver 18. ADP of the 4th round, pick 38. Another guy that was kind of working through injuries last season. They actually came out after the season that he was less than 100%, like the whole entire year dealing with an injury. So now if he can stay healthy here in an offense where he's going to be the lead guy by far, they got rid of Michael Crabtree. He's gone with the Ravens. And his secondary options on this team aren't guys that are really like, I don't know, guys that get many receptions. I think they kind of struggle to create separation recently. And Jordy Nelson, he's definitely past his prime. Then you got Martavis Bryant, more of a deep threat. I think that will clear things out for Amari Cooper. So I see a big season coming for him. I think he can get to 140 to 150 targets on the season with how I see these wide receiver kind of targets laying out on this team. So Amari Cooper, very good upside. He didn't show the upside last season, kind of burned some people. So I think people will be afraid to go with him again this season. So you can take advantage of that. And Cooper can be a top 10 wide receiver, I think, with just how this offense profiles out. He's the best receiving guy by far. He's going to be pepper with the targets. And he's hitting his 4th season here for Oakland. And that's normally when guys start to figure it out. Wide receivers can struggle with the first couple of seasons. We saw that with the best wide receiver in football, Antonio Brown. Didn't do much his first 3 years, but in this 4th season, had a huge jump in production. He went from 780 yards in his 3rd year to 1,499 yards. So I think Cooper can have one of those huge jumps. He's so talented. He was a first-round draft pick, immense talent. So Cooper, great value with good upside, and he's just going to be the rock in this offense. So I'm going to go ahead and draft him there at his current ADP. I'm just going to go ahead and grab my laptop charger real quick, but Jordan Reed is a guy that I love this year. He's just being drafted way too low. The risk is always there with Jordan Reed for his injury, but the risk doesn't even matter this year if he's being drafted in the 8th round. The 8th pick in the 8th round. Plugging in my charger here. I think it's going to die in like a second, so I really didn't want to restart this video. this is going pretty well, you know. So Jordan Reed, 8th round, like I mentioned. We know the upside's there. He can be a top 5 tight end any single year when he stays healthy. But, of course, over the last couple of years, hasn't been able to do so. But, like, say like he starts off the season, like you get him for 6 weeks or so, and he's putting up good numbers, like he's a top 5 tight end for you in those first 6 weeks. And say he goes down with an injury the rest of the season, I think he's still returning solid value in his 8th round draft pick, even if like you don't have him the rest of the way. Tight end is pretty deep. Their production, you can find a guy that can give you like solid tight end 1 production sometimes on the waiver wire, and he'll give you like solid production when he's healthy. We know that, like I said, and the risk isn't there as much. So Alex Smith will be his new quarterback. We know that he loves utilizing tight ends with Vernon Davis back in San Fran. We know that Travis Kelce had huge seasons with them. So Jordan Reed, a very talented player. Just the injuries always kind of hinder him a little bit. But this is like a make or break season, honestly, I think, for Jordan Reed. So he's going to be going like, I know he's probably already going 100% to try to stay healthy, but he's going to be extra cautious, I believe, this year. Doesn't want to waste another season in his prime. So Jordan Reed, great value pick that can give you like 4th round to 3rd round value if the guy can stay in the field. So I'm definitely targeting him as like kind of a flyer, I guess, with how he's being drafted. But for my last guy, it's going to be Eric Ebron. Had a quiet year last year, was kind of a sleeper pick, similar to Amari Cooper here. I think people are going to be like sick of Eric Ebron. He's not even being ranked in the top 15 for tight ends. He's tight end 16 currently. So I think people are just like sick of Eric Ebron. Don't want to talk about him anymore. But with how he fits into this offense, this is like a perfect system for him. We got the new head coach for the Colts, Frank Reich, I believe is how you say his name. He was the OC from the Eagles, where Zach Ertz, he just had a huge season for them. He put Zach Ertz in like great situations throughout the season. He put him out wide a wide receiver sometimes, and got him good matchups. So I think with Eric Ebron, he was kind of talking to the media. That's what he wants to do with Eric Ebron. Kind of use him as like a more than a tight end. It's kind of like a guy you move around, like a basketball player. You kind of mentioned to him. I mentioned about him. Get him on some linebackers and just give him this opportunity to show off his athleticism. We know that Ebron was a supreme talent come out of the draft. He was the 10th overall pick. And also we know with tight ends sometimes it takes a little bit longer for them to get their legs under the feet. They kind of develop slower. But now Eric Ebron has a fresh start here with Indianapolis. He can wipe away all those drops that he had in Detroit. He was a disaster for them. In Detroit, though, they don't really use a tight end that much in their offense. They kind of use their running backs and the wide receivers a lot more. But Andrew Luck, we know that he loves to use the tight ends. We got Kobe Fleener putting up solid production for the Colts. I mean, if he can do that, I think Eric Ebron can do that. And also Jack Doyle over the last couple of years, he was going off. Ebron, he's like 10 times more talented than Fleener and Jack Doyle. So I think he can have a huge season and be like a top 10 tight end here in this offense. He could honestly be the second option behind T.Y. Hilton. The wide receivers behind Hilton aren't that great, not proven at all. Eric Ebron is kind of a proven commodity, honestly, compared to some of these other guys. So I think Ebron is going to be put in great situations to have a big season. You're not really using anything of an asset on him to draft him. He's being drafted in the 14th round. So this is a huge season for Ebron. They sign him to a nice contract. He's getting paid a good amount. Zach Ertz got 110 targets last year. So Ebron in this offense, sky's the limit, I think, for him. So a great pick. So that is it, though, for your guys that I'm targeting. You got Ebron, Jordan Reed, Amari Cooper, just some solid ADP values across the board. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to drop a like. If you did, I apologize for my laptop. It was trying to die out on me, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the content. Be sure to drop a like I said, if you want to see more of these videos, and you can comment any ideas for other videos going forward. Hit that subscribe button as well to get this content throughout the whole entire offseason as we get ready for your fantasy drafts. If you're already not drafting now, I think most of the drafts are around that August kind of time frame. So, yeah, that is it. Hit that bell icon and go alerted every time I upload. I also upload MLB DraftKings picks every single day. I'll be doing NFL DraftKings picks every single week once we get into the season. So good luck this season, guys. If you don't, check out my other videos. But some good content coming your way. We'll see you back here again next time.